Everyone, I once again welcome you all to my YouTube channel English Banisa. So in this video today we are going to discuss degree semester 2 Lady Macbeth speech from Macbeth Act 1 Scene 5. So here students, before seeing this Act 1 Scene 5, I want to explain you the whole story, then only you can understand the Act 1 Scene 5. In the next video I will explain you this Act 1 Scene 5 of Lady Macbeth's speech. So, before moving further, let us know about the author William Shakespeare. So, this William Shakespeare, he was an English playwright, poet, and also actor. He's regarded as the greatest writer in the English language and the world's preeminent dramatist. He is often called England's national poet and Bard of Avon because he was born in Avon. It is the name of a place. His extant work including collaboration of some 39 plays, and he also wrote 154 sonnets, 3 long narrative poems, and few other verses as well. So now students, let's see this Macbeth. So in this video I'm explaining you whole story of this Macbeth. This play shows points on the people who run after fame and greedy people. So there were many characters in this Macbeth play, but I am explaining you the important characters. So let's start with the Macbeth first of all. So this Macbeth, he is a hero of this story. Eh, It's he's now students. Let's see the characters of in this play Macbeth. So there are many characters in this play, but I am explaining you and so now students, let's see this characters in this play Macbeth. So there are many characters in this play, but I am sharing only few characters here. So first of all, let's see the Macbeth. So this Macbeth, he was a hero of this story, Macbeth. In the beginning of the story, he was a brave general who was mistreated by the three witches and dreamed to become a king himself. So he's a tragic hero. Who is a hero in the story? That is a Macbeth. He is a Thane of Cawdor, means chief of the central area who was appointed by the king. But afterwards, this Macbeth killed the king and becomes the king of the Scotland. And he was influenced by his wife to do so. Which means that Lady Macbeth means Macbeth's wife. She was influenced him. And the end of the play, this Macbeth comes to its tragic end, means himself, this woman. So, students, let's start this Macbeth. In this video, I'm explaining you whole story of this play Macbeth. So, this play means shows the points on the people who run after fame, and means based on the greedy people. So in this play we have so many characters. So let's discuss the characters first before understanding the play because it's very necessary to understand the play. So the first one is Macbeth, who was a tragic hero. He's a hero in the story. He is a Thane of Cawdor, means chief of the central area who was appointed by the king. But afterwards this Macbeth killed the king and became the king of Scotland, and he was influenced by his wife to do so, means Lady Macbeth, his wife. And the play ends with a tragedy, means himself he destroyed his life, this Macbeth. At the beginning of the story, this Macbeth was a brave general who was misled by the three witches and dreamed to become king him. Now let's see the second character. She is a Lady Macbeth. She is a wife of this Macbeth. So who forced Macbeth to kill the king. But at the end of the story, she became mad, probably, and she suicided due to the guilt. The guilt was she killed this King Duncan. Now the next character is Banquo. Banquo, he is also a nobleman of Scotland, like Macbeth, and in front of him and Macbeth, the witches gave him a prophecy. We will discuss what was the prophecy further. So Banquo's rule is also important in this story, but at the end of the story Macbeth killed Banquo also because of his greed. We will discuss later. Now let's see the next one, Macduff. He's a Scottish nobleman who killed Macbeth at the end. This Macduff killed Macbeth at the end. Don't be confused, students, between these two names, Macbeth and Macbeth. So this Macduff killed Macbeth at the end of this story, who knew from the starting that Macbeth is involved in Duncan's death, means King Duncan's death, and his family also was killed by the Macbeth only. Now come to this King Duncan. So King Duncan, he is the king of the Scotland to whom Macbeth killed and become the king of Scotland. So this King Duncan has two sons, Malcolm and other one is there, so I don't remember the name of that. So this King Duncan, he wanted to make Malcolm, means new heir, new king. That's why Macbeth killed Duncan, because he wanted to become the king of Scotland. Now next come to this Malcolm. Malcolm is the eldest son of the Duncan to whom the king wanted to, means, hand over his kingdom. But after his father's death, he escaped from Scotland, but at the end of the story he became the king of the Scotland with the help of the this Macduff. Then there are more characters, but these are the important to understand the play. And there are witches also who gave the prophecy to this Macbeth. We will discuss this prophecy. So let's start our play. So the play starts with a war between Norway and Scotland. At the end of the war, the Scotland won, and the credit goes to Macbeth, as he has shown great bravery during the war to defend his nation, means Scotland. Now, after the war, when Macbeth and his friend Banquo were discussing about the war, meanwhile, three witches foretells them a prophecy that Macbeth will become the Thane of Cawdor, means the chief central of the area. And definitely the day will come when you will become the king of Scotland. Means Macbeth is going to become the king of Scotland. That prophecy these three witches gave to him. And they also said, means prophecy, that the Banquo, that you can't become the king of the Scotland, but your son would be. So at the first they did not believe, means Macbeth and Banquo, they did not believe on the witches. But they heard a news that King Duncan made Macbeth a Thane of Cawdor, as the witches gave prophecy, as he impressed with his bravery, because the last Thane of Cawdor, means last chief, were helping to the Norwegians against the Scotland war. That's why King Duncan removed that chief, and in place of that chief he made the Thane of Cawdor to Macbeth. So now students, the first prophecy of the witches come true, and Macbeth become the Thane of Cawdor. So now Macbeth here thought that the first prophecy comes true, now I can become the king also, as said by the witches. Then suddenly a thought comes to his mind, where he decided to kill King Duncan and want to become the king. But he avoided that thought, thinking that it is immortal. Now in the king's palace, King Duncan announced that after him, means after King Duncan, his son Malcolm will become the king, means next heir of the Scotland. Now here Macbeth became restless, as the witch's prophecy seemed to be wrong. So after this, king decided to spend a night in Macbeth's palace, and he went to sleep in the room along with his bodyguard. Now the Lady Macbeth enter in the story. She is a type of woman who wants to become queen of Scotland, and she comes to know the prophecy of the three witches by her husband, that Macbeth can become the king of the Scotland. Now you can imagine what will happen as he sleep in Macbeth's palace. Now Lady Macbeth thinks that if she wants to become the queen of the Scotland and her husband a king, then definitely she should kill the king, as he is sleeping in our house, so it will be easy to kill him. But the problem is how she will confess to her husband, because she knows that Macbeth will never agree to do this. So when she shared this thought with Macbeth, at first he denied to kill King, but she played certain tricks to convince him. So in the night, both husband and wife together murdered the King Duncan, and they put the sword in one of the king's bodyguard's hand, so that people doubt on them, and people think the bodyguard only the murderer of the king. Now in the morning, Macduff and others came to king's room, and they were surprised to see him dead, means king was dead. Macduff alarmed there, and everyone gathered there. and his wife were also there, and they were pretending to be shocked at the time, so that no one could doubt on them. Then suddenly Macbeth killed the bodyguards in front of all and said that they are the murderer of the king. And by seeing this, all King Duncan's son ran away from there by thinking that they would be next. Means if they can kill the king, they could also king us. So they ran away from the Scotland. So as they ran away, so people thought that they both together murdered the king. Because they ran away, that's why people thought the son only killed the king. So now, as both the son of the king flee, so the one and only option is Macbeth. Now Banquo is sure that the Macbeth is the murderer of the king, as he knew the prophecy of the three witches. But he doesn't care who killed the king, but he is interested to see when his son will become the king, as said by the witches. Now here Macbeth thinks that I would be in trouble, so it will be better to kill the Banquo. So now Macbeth again or means arrange a party, and he invited everyone including Banquo and his son in the party. And he hired two murderers. So when they were coming, means Banquo and his son, when they were coming to party, the murderer who hired by the Macbeth were attacked on them to murder them. But Banquo's son saved himself and ran away from that place. But that Banquo was killed by them. Now Macbeth went to the party, and what he seen in the party is Banquo's ghost. The party Macbeth did some unusual things. Due to that, people doubt in him. But Macbeth is 100% sure here that Macbeth only the murderer of the King Duncan, and decided to hit the King Duncan's son Malcolm. So he went to England, where this Malcolm, the King Duncan's son, ran away. That Malcolm ran away to England. So this Macduff decided to help the Malcolm to become the next heir of the Scotland. And in the England's king and this Macduff and this Malcolm were making an army against Macbeth. Here Macbeth is very much scared by the Banquo's ghost, and he decided to go to that three witches to know more about his future. So again the three witches said him three prophecies. One is he should be aware of the Macduff. This Macduff, he should means Macbeth should be aware of this Macduff. And the second one is the person who born by a woman can't kill him. So we know that everyone born by the mother only. Now the third one, you will be the king until the forest will walk towards you. Means if the forest will come to you by walking, you wouldn't be a king anymore. Now Macbeth is in relief now, because every man given birth by means come to this world by the woman only. And the second thing also, that plants would never walk, so no one can kill him. But the first prophecy is he should be aware with the Macduff. So what he did, he sent some people to kill Macduff. But Macduff, he was in England, and the murderers killed the Macbeth's means Macduff's whole family. So when Macduff come to know that this news, he takes this war personally, as Macbeth killed his whole family. Now here Macbeth's wife, Lady Macbeth, means this Macbeth's advisor, she become mad here. Now here she thinks that her hands are filled with King Duncan's blood, and she can't clean them, as she feel remorse and she become mad. Now Malcolm's army came to the forest, means the forest means near the Macbeth's palace. So here this Macbeth feels himself in danger and protect the palace with numerous guards. So Malcolm's army decided to move forward by taking the support of the green trees. So students, now you can imagine the forest is coming towards the Macbeth's palace. So meanwhile he heard a news that Lady Macbeth is dead, means she passed away. Now it is a secret, either she killed herself due to guilt or something else. Now this Macbeth, he was in despair and thinks that this life is meaningless without his beloved wife. Now here Malcolm's army moving forward to the this Macbeth's palace by defending themselves. with trees. It seems that the forest itself walking toward the palace as said by the witches. So the prophecy comes true. So they enter in the palace. So here this army caught Macbeth. But here Macbeth was so relaxed and was means showing arrogance and said that no man could kill me who born by a woman. Then here Macduff come forward and he said that if it is like this, then I will only kill you, because Macduff did not born by her mother, but he came to this world by means her mother's torn stomach. Then after saying this, Macduff killed Macbeth. So students, in this way Macbeth come to a tragic end, and at the end of this story this Malcolm has become the king of this Scotland. So I hope you have understood this story, means the play the Macbeth. In the next video I will explain you Lady Macbeth's speech from Macbeth.